Hey guys, tonight we drift through amber clouds, suspended thousands of meters above Venus's molten surface, where gravity is just a polite suggestion and morning routines are more ceremonial than functional. Your skin is pale from years of filtered sunlight, your eyes wide and softly gold from a mild retinal enhancement procedure. You're slim partially from a high-nutrient fog-based diet, partially from stress. Your hands tremble slightly, not from fear, but from residual neural overstimulation from last night's dream recording session. Emotionally, you're adrift calm, yes, but with a strange hollowness, like something important was forgotten in your sleep. Walls pulsating gently with warm bioluminescence. The floor is semi-solid engineered polymer a breakfast pod extrudes from the wall. It opens like a blooming flower, presenting a levitating orb of synth nectar. It tastes like mango carbon. You blink once, and the message vanishes, replaced by your usual checklist. Neural stretch, fog meditation, breakfast with the vines, and today's featherfall rehearsal. And a hint of nostalgia. Or maybe today won't be like all the other days. You sip as slowly as you can, till you catch movement. A flock of air whales glides past the city's outer shell long. Semi-translucent creatures engineered from old gene banks, humming songs only children can translate. One breaches, then dips below the platform's curve. You smile softly. That gives just enough bounce to feel like walking on memory foam filled with whispers. You float skip toward the dressing alcove, where your atmosuit waits, hanging like a jellyfish mid-pulse. You're wrapped in a thin, iridescent sleep wrap stitched with electromagnetic thread that gently adjusts to your body's temperature and pulse. It's ultra-thin but could deflect microacid raindrops and seal itself in zero point 0.4 seconds during pressure loss. You slip into it like a second skin. Outside, clouds roll and boil below you in titanic swirls, tinted orange and rust, stretching beyond sight. Far in the distance, one of the older cities drifts past Leslie, if you recall, its domes glinting like shattered pearls. You catch a glimpse of someone walking a genetically upcycled Zeppelin mat across a floating promenade. It wears tiny wings. As the collar seals with a sigh, your HUD blooms fully. Oxygen levels, city drift velocity, current altitude 58.4 kilometers above the scorched hellscape below. You exhale slowly. You've done this every morning since you arrived, but it still feels a little like a dream, especially after prolonged exposure to the sky's disorienting vastness. You're not sure it works, but it feels right to say. Here in the floating cities, time doesn't tick its ways. Giant balloon habitats, like jellyfish made of diamond fiber mesh, bob gently in the currents, lit by soft ultraviolet dawns filtered through an atmosphere thick with sulfuric acid. You place your palm to the chilled glass and whisper a simple phrase, as is custom, but I choose the air. Heart rate, elevated. Sleep quality, 62%. REM to delta ratio, questionable, as usual. It blinks its lens and projects today's forecast directly onto the air. Mild acid mist, 12% chance of vortex turbulence, and optimal breathability for the next 5 hours, assuming no solar flares. It's beautiful in a chemically hostile sort of way. You're a woman in your late 20s, with shoulder-length silver blonde hair that naturally floats slightly upward in a low-grav air. Your day begins not with an alarm, but with the subtle shift in air pressure as the city glides into the Terminator. The edge between night and the relentless sun. A pale glow seeps into your sleep pod through the diffused dome, soft and golden pink like sunrise through a glass of honeyed tea. A nearby chime-soft, organic, almost like a bamboo wind bell, lets you know it's time to uncoil from your cocoon. You stretch slow motion in near weightlessness. The sleep wrap contracts and releases, scanning your vitals and whispering a sequence of health metrics directly to your neural HUD. Hovering beside you is a tiny droid, about the size and sass of a hummingbird. The pod's membrane peels away like dew evaporating, and you push out into the chamber. Your room is circular. The suit's surface shimmers in soft gradients of turquoise and lilac, shifting with your movements. You glide toward the nearest viewport, and then comes your first ritual of the day, acknowledgement. I remember gravity. It's both tradition and insurance. Psychologists believe it helps residents maintain perspective behind you, out of the corner of your eye. But there's something else. A flicker in your HUD, a brief blue glyph, a private message you don't remember asking for, but your heart beats a little faster. Maybe it was a glitch. You are a woman in your late 20s, hair still damp from your sonic cleanser, tied into a lazy loop at the nape of your neck. Your atmosuit has shifted hues this morning, subtle blue gradients flowing like waves, perhaps influenced by your elevated cortisol levels. Every few steps, Miss Vents release gentle puffs of filtered air enriched with trace mood stabilizers. The scent today is mint lavender, a blend designed to suppress anxiety while keeping the mind sharp. You breathe deeply. Your posture feels tighter than usual, your limbs a bit sore from yesterday's featherfall misfire. Emotionally, you're distracted, your thoughts cycling back to the strange blue glyph that flickered on your HUD. You try to dismiss it as static, but it's lodged in your mind like a puzzle piece that doesn't belong. The city's inner shell hums softly as you make your way through its arched corridors, lit from above by refracted solar ribbons captured in fiber tubes. Funny how that memory floats up now here in a world of permanent cloud. A gentle nudge returns you to standing. Your HUD flickers again, this time displaying your mood as ambiguously curious. Fair enough. Your destination is the sink alcove, nestled just off the atrium of the East Pod. Some walk, some hover. One man near you has no legs, just a self-propelling suit made of wind-sensitive mycelium strands. You nod to him, he nods back. No words. A cylinder of ionized air encased in transparent crystal, stretching half a kilometer through the heart of the city. The inside is filled with slow-moving plasma threads, glowing in pastel tones and reacting to your bioelectric field. Every ride down feels like entering a dream. It's where citizens calibrate their atmosuits each morning, allowing micro-tuning of pressure, insulation, and personality overlays. The air tightens gently around you, keeping you suspended. Then the descent begins. A soft chime greets you as the alcove's petals unfurl. You step inside and press both palms to the biohaptic panel. The suit responds immediately, sending a pulse through your spine. Feels like mild static and warm syrup all at once. One lands on the side of the spire, peers in, then launches away with a sparkle of static. Then soft tones emerge, music generated live from the movement of everyone inside the spire. It's never the same twice. Today's rhythm is slow, aquatic, with soft, harp-like pulses. The ground plaza is solid, polymer bricks recycled from old Martian scaffolds. Citizens are already beginning their morning rituals. The theory is that the vertical shift in air pressure interacts with the neural lace in your suit's collar. You float downward past hanging gardens, rotating greenhouses, meditation domes, and water catchment sails that look like translucent wings. A glowing orb descends your sink sphere and hovers at eye level. It scans your retinal patterns, then asks the daily prompt in a soothing contralto. What role will you play today? You blink once for neutral navigator, twice for empathic interface, and thrice for the first time in months you blink 4 times, undefined. The orb hesitates, then accepts. You feel a shift in your atmosuit. It relaxes, becomes slightly cooler, looser around the joints, more freedom, less guidance. A gamble, but it suits your mood. A countdown begins. The sink alcove slowly rotates your body midder, calibrating limb resistance and balance orientation. You close your eyes and let it spin. This is your moment of clarity, when the mind often opens to spontaneous insights or random memory flashes. This time, you remember your father's voice. He used to narrate the names of clouds as you watched the Earth sky together. Cirrus, altostratus, lenticular, calibration complete. You drift out into the corridor, where other residents make their way to morning routines. And then you reach the elevator spire. You've always loved this part. It's less an elevator and more a gravity art installation. You step in. At first, it's silence. Outside, flocks of polywinged birds flap slowly through the sulfur mist. At about 200 meters down, your HUD dims slightly and flashes the word, transition. And your mind opens. This is when many residents report spontaneous emotional states, like lucid dreaming or sudden creative insight. You don't hallucinate, but you do feel clear. Then, out of nowhere, you see it again. The blue glyph. Faint. Fading. Like it's watching. By the time you reach the bottom, it's gone again. You step out of the spire and feel your feet fully contact the floor, a luxury here in the Cloud Cities. And so do you. You are a woman in your late 20s, and this morning you feel heavier, not physically, but as though some invisible ballast has been quietly added to your spine. Your silver blonde hair, now loosely tied, drapes over one shoulder. There's a faint crease below your right eye, maybe from sleep, maybe from worry. Your atmosuit's colors are muted today, faded teal and shadowy indigo mirroring your inward mood. Your steps are slow, grounded. Citizens begin here not out of obligation, but out of cultural gravity. The act itself is simple. Walk the bridge, breathe the mist, reset the soul. The glyph has visited you twice now, and though no one around you seems concerned, your body senses something stirring. You carry a quiet determination tinged with unease. That's not unusual. Some residents treat the elevator walk as a form of atmospheric prayer, offering a full panoramic view of the surrounding cloud banks. Miles below, Venus's surface glows faintly through breaks in the haze dull red, like coal under ash. They do not dive. No one's gone down there in decades, not since the last expedition went quiet. The clouds remember. Others, like you, just use it to ground their minds in sensation. A flock of kitefish glide overhead, this time letting others drift past. Though it doesn't vanish. It's a young woman, tall, copper hair coiled tightly beneath a translucent helmet. She gestures toward your HUD. Looks like you got a floater glyph, rare. It pulses once, twice, then it settles into your peripheral vision. You blink rapidly, trying to bring it into focus, but it doesn't respond. It's not a glitch, it wants to be noticed. Their translucent fins vibrating in sync with a breeze you can't feel. Your HUD tags them as Obelita ventris, genetically altered sky plankton feeders bred for beauty and air filtration. They're also sacred to some. You once heard a cloud monk say, when the opalids dive, the city weeps. The elevator spire deposits you into the morning plaza, where vapor drifts between polished black tiles. Sculpted wind funnels channel the fog into elegant swirls, almost dancing to the music still lingering in the air from the descent. The mist deepens. You enter the second layer, the ambient processing band. A voice asks gently. Where the city's air is cleansed and recycled, the scent changes. Embedded in the bridge railing are silent chimes, which vibrate at frequencies tailored to crowd movement and mood. It's subtle, almost subsonic, but the effect is noticeable. People smile more here, laugh gently. One older man does a cartwheel. No one stares, sharper, ionized. Your HUD picks up a microcharge. Someone nearby is testing a personal resonance field. Ahead lies the first true communal ritual of the day, the elevator walk. Contrary to its name, the elevator walk is not about transportation. Is a symbolic passage through the 3 atmospheric layers of the city, embodied in a slow-motion stroll across the mile-long sky bridge that arcs along the city's equator. You join the crowd as it begins to coalesce. Dozens of others have emerged from different spire shafts. No one speaks. A gentle mist envelops you. This is the hydrogen-rich outer vapor layer of the city, harvested directly from the upper atmosphere of Venus. It's perfumed faintly with engineered myrrh and algae-based oxygenators. Instead, each person adjusts to their own rhythm, sensing subconsciously with the footsteps of others. It's not exactly meditative, but it's close. As you step onto the bridge, your HUD dims again and plays a tone. Atmospheric transition phase 1. Your breathing deepens. Thoughts slow. Muscles loosen. Depends. Could be a memory tag. Could be someone from the old guilds messing around. If it stays after the third layer, I'd ask the vapormancers. The person walking beside you is in a spiral braided suit, eyes closed, palms facing downward as if channeling some invisible current from the bridge. The bridge curves gently upward, about halfway across today, 3/4 along the walk. You look up and there it is again, the glyph. Just a flicker on the corner of your HUD. You pause mid-step. You okay? You turn. You nod slowly. What's it mean? She shrugs, then she walks on. You do the same. You enter the third and final layer, the emotional harmonic zone. The mist here is thinner, cooler. You feel your breath lighten. As you near the end of the bridge, your HUD shifts again, this time offering an optional mood calibration pulse. You decline. You want to feel everything today, unfiltered. And then you step off the bridge and into a garden. Not just any garden, the botanical array, massive suspended greenhouse where you will take your first meal of the day. But before that, you glance one last time at the corner of your vision. The glyph is still there, and it's growing clearer. You are a woman in your late 20s, and this morning your stomach aches with a strange blend of hunger and anticipation. Your limbs feel light again, but not from the low gravity. This is something else. Your boots barely touching the springy mesh walkways. Around you, the plants sing not with sound, but through low-level electrochemical hums that your neural interface translates into calming pulses. Each citizen has a unique relationship with their assigned vines. Yours are called the echo blossoms, the scent of ozone and fear, screams muffled by vapor, and then nothing. Grown from a hybrid of Martian succulents and Venusian gas leaf flora. They shimmer as you approach, unfolding their pale blue petals toward your hands like eager pets. You chew slowly, watching a nearby resident conversing with his vines. It fills automatically with a filtered extract of blossom nectar and root enzymes. As you drink, you hear something unusual, a chirping, faint, rhythmic. He gestures in slow circles, humming softly. The plants mimic his motion, their tendrils swaying in rhythm. Your skin, its eyes flash blue, the same blue as the glyph. Mirror birds were thought extinct after the last plague cycle. Their ability to replicate memory-based sound was both wonder and hazard. Most were banned. The ground is warm. Carefully, you place your palms on the nutrient stone, embedded at the base of the largest stalk. Immediately, your HUD registers the exchange, oxygen output elevated, emotional feedback synchronizing. The blossom curls inward slightly, then releases a scent that's both familiar and intangible, like vanilla, wet quartz, and something you once smelled in a childhood dream. Pale and smooth. It detaches with a musical click. This is your breakfast, nutrient-dense, light on the tongue, and mildly psychoactive. The taste shifts as you chew first sweet, then tangy, then oddly metallic. As always, the final note is memory. Has goosebumps rising along the forearms. The atmosuit clings a bit tighter today, adapting defensively to your elevated heart rate. You haven't spoken since waking, but your inner monologue won't stop replaying the glyph's silent message, even though no words were shown. You enter the botanical array with careful steps, aware that something is shifting inside the city and inside yourself. The array is unlike any Earth greenhouse. Suspended by strands of engineered spider silk, It sways with the city's motion like a living chandelier. Rows of vine structures grow vertically from nutrient mist columns, each one coiled like a D in a helix. Light pulses upward from the floor panels, tuned to the precise frequencies that trigger blooming. You move slowly among the rows, you kneel, you pluck a single petal, and today's memory is not your own. You gasp softly. Your vision blurs. A sudden flash, a spire collapsing, not here, but somewhere else, an older cloud city, perhaps Obsidia. When your vision clears, you're still kneeling. The blossom recoils slightly, its petals fluttering as if apologizing. This has never happened before. You take another petal. It tastes normal, just faint citrus and starch. No visions this time. But you can't shake what you saw. You rise and take your nutrient vial from the dispenser. You turn your head and spot it. A mirror bird. They're not supposed to be here. A sleek, prism-feathered creature perches near the nutrient ducts, its angular head cocked at you. But this one stares right at you. Then it speaks, not in bird noise, but in your own voice. You saw it too. Your body stiffens. The bird twitches, then flaps once and vanishes into the upper scaffold, leaving behind a few downy feathers and a high-pitched harmonic note. You turn slowly to the other residents. No one else reacts. It's as if the mirror bird didn't exist, but the feathers are real. And your breath won't settle. Your HUD pings again. The glyph flashes brighter now. Beneath it, a message. Iron Well Sunset Phase. You don't remember opting into any alerts for the Iron Well. No one goes there casually. It's a power core. A volatile one. You tap the message. It vanishes, and now you're certain of it. Someone or something is watching you, and whatever is happening. It started this morning. You are a woman in your late 20s, and the edges of your thoughts are fraying. You feel ... off. Your steps are too deliberate, your breath slightly out of sync. Your silver blonde hair, usually buoyant in a low gravity, clings close to your neck with humidity from the greenhouse. Your hands are clammy. Your suit, sensing your discomfort, adjusts its microventilation to cool your spine. Emotionally, you're rattled. The mirror bird's voice, your voice, still echoes in your mind. You haven't told anyone. You're not sure you should. But the message is clear now. Something is calling, and it wants you to follow. You exit the botanical array and glide into the communal fog chamber. Each morning, after nourishment, residents enter this circular space, the cloud mine, for what's officially called collective atmospheric harmonization, but everyone just calls it fog meditation. It's part ritual, part therapy, and part psychological stabilizer, designed for life in floating cities that lack physical ground. You step into the chamber barefoot. Shoes are not allowed here. There's a soft ambient hum playing, modulated white noise tuned to Venus's atmospheric resonance. The floor is heated just enough to make your muscles relax, and the fog curls upward from hidden grates. Thick and slow, forming a roiling white sea that reaches your chest. You move to your usual quadrant and stand silently, surrounded by dozens of other residents, all quiet, all semi-submerged in vapor. Your HUD dims to a soft glow and presents a prompt. Begin dream logging? Yes, no, you hesitate. Then blink for yes. At once, a small neural filament extrudes from your suit's collar and brushes the back of your neck. A faint click, like a pin dropping in the mind. The dream begins to upload. Everyone contributes. Everyone partakes. It's the city's way of preventing loneliness. Isolation is the real killer up here, not gravity failure or air leaks. Not just to a cloud server, but to the communal lattice, where dreams are stored as fluid emotional signatures and shared anonymously. As the vapor thickens, your mind drifts. Your body remains upright, but your consciousness floats sideways, where thought has no weight. Images flicker. A child holding a glowing sphere. Going down isn't an adventure, it's a cremation. A doorless corridor curving endlessly into mist. A sequence of stars that feel familiar, though you've never studied astronomy. And then a voice, the neural filament retracts. A faint beep signals the end of your session, not the mirror bird. People stretch quietly, murmur greetings, return to their day. Some smile. You do not. A new one. Older, rougher, whispering. A small circle of dampness marks your chest right over your heart. You were meant to see. The city hums softly beneath your feet, supported by buoyancy generators and magnetic counterbalance rings. Your breath catches. Your physical body jerks slightly in place. No one notices. Everyone else is locked in their own fog. The voice continues. The cliff is a bridge. It leads below. Below? You've never been below. The surface of Venus is death. 462 degrees Celsius, crushing pressure, clouds of acid. But the voice doesn't stop. The ion well will open. You must descend. Each one pulses with a color you've never seen before, shades that don't exist in the human vocabulary. Your mind calls them impossible blues. And just like that, the fog begins to clear. Your HUD resets. You look around because you heard something no one else did, and it spoke directly to you. You wipe the condensation from your cheeks. Your hair has curled slightly in the mist. You leave the chamber and follow the curve of the hallways toward the outer deck. Your next stop is scheduled to be the social commons, but your body moves elsewhere, toward the eastern platform where the observation decks are kept. As you pass through an arch of humming crystal, your HUD flashes again. The glyph returns. Only this time, it's not alone. Around it, 5 smaller glyphs appear, rotating like satellites. They orbit once, then vanish. And the main glyph shifts shape. It now resembles something ancient. A door. You are a woman in your late 20s, and this morning your heartbeat feels louder than the city itself. Your silver blonde hair, still slightly damp from the fog chamber, clings to your temple in soft waves. There is a persistent tremble in your left hand that you try to hide by keeping it at your side. Your eyes, a muted gold, scan every reflection for signs of motion. You haven't eaten since the blossoms. You don't feel hungry. You feel watched. Your atmosuit seems to sense this, too. The inner lining pulses slightly, applying a calming pressure to your spine like a pair of invisible hands. Emotionally, you're taught as wire suspicious, alert, and curious. Always curious. The eastern observation platform is empty. Not surprising. It's rarely used during morning hours when the sun slants just wrong and paints the windows with blinding copper light. But today the haze is unusually dense. Light filters in only dimly, turning the platform into a kind of glowing shadow box. The silence here feels intentional. From this height, over 58 kilometers above Venus's surface, the clouds below stretch like a living ocean. Railing, breathing, and beneath them, nothing visible. Just fire, pressure, and centuries of abandoned dreams. Chosen. Your neural lace doesn't recognize the language. It's pre-guild. Preterforming. You approach the railing. But something has changed. You feel it first as a vibration, faint, rhythmic. Then your HUD flickers, and a new interface overrides the default display. A subtle chime sounds from your left. You turn sharply. You grip the railing to stay upright. The suit applies microstimulation to keep you from fainting. An ultraviolet panel forms in the air, transparent but edged in radiant lines. The glyph appears again, larger this time, and rotates slowly. The words glow with impossible blues. Invitation acknowledged. Prepare for passage. And then the panel vanishes. Atmospheric artists. Rogue philosophers. Not officially part of the council, but respected and feared. Their tower rises near the city's spine, almost always hidden by swirling clouds. Spiraling hallways built for graceful drift. A maintenance drone tries to greet you. You ignore it. Your legs weaken slightly. You know what this means, but not late. No markings. No panel. You're not imagining it. You arrive at the vapor tower, the glyph, the mirror bird, the vision, the voice in the fog. It's all connected. You ask, voice shaky. And now someone has confirmed your presence, not just seen you, chosen you. Suddenly, a nearby wall panel slides open, revealing a slender metal drawer. Inside it, a crystal key. The tower is dim, lit only by bioluminescent fog. Shapes shift in the mist, possibly walls, possibly people. The air smells of star anise and ozone. Shaped like a triangle folded into itself non-Euclidean. The moment you touch it, your HUD flares bright. A single word flashes, vapormancers. The city's alchemical chemists. You clutch the key. Their body is wrapped in layered fabrics that ripple like smoke, and their face is obscured by a veil of vibrating mist. You've heard of this, the cloud mask, palm open. The glyph appears again, this time hovering above their fingers. Then it unfolds, literally folds out like it exists in dimensions you cannot see. Said to display your own future face if you look directly at it. It's weightless. Echoed. You leave the platform in a trance, moving quickly through the residential bands. The architecture blurs past liquid crystal windows, floating gardens. Finally, it's unlike anything else in the city. Formed from coiled ceramic strands harvested from the upper atmosphere, it looks grown, not built. The door is seamless. You hold up the key. The air in front of you vibrates and then dissolves into swirling vapor, revealing a passage. No one stops you. Inside, a voice speaks. Traveler of the waking glyph, you are late. You squint into the haze. A figure steps forward, neither old nor young, neither male nor female. You avoid eye contact. Why was I chosen? The vapormancer tilts their head. Not chosen. They raise one hand. Within it, another symbol, a downward spiral of 9 loops. The vapormancer whispers, the iron well is opening. The city's anchor is no longer secure, below the clouds. Something is rising. You nod slowly. The phrase from your fog vision returns. You must descend, and you realize tomorrow morning may not come, unless you go down. You are a woman in your late 20s, and your body feels like it no longer belongs to you. Every step you take through the vapormancer's mystic corridors seems guided by instinct, not intention. Your silver blonde hair clings to your neck in damp coils. Your hands are cool, but your face is warm. The suit's inner lining shifts constantly now, trying to stabilize your growing adrenaline. Your emotional state teeters between awe and dread. Something is happening, some secret that pulses beneath every surface, hiding in the currents of this city, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to follow it down. The vapormancer leads you deeper into the tower, through a spiral passage where the air shimmers with electrochemical residue. The walls breathe. No, not metaphorically. Some of them literally expand and contract like lungs. The vapormancer gestures toward the center, where a kinetic sculpture rotates in mid-7 rings of silver-gold alloy, each moving independently, each etched with swirling glyphs. It's beautiful, dizzying, and completely silent. You catch glimpses of other robed figures drifting between rooms, faces obscured, each carrying bowls filled with flickering particles like captured lightning. You're taken to a round chamber lit only by floating lanterns. This is the gate engine, they whisper. You step closer. But this time it begins to merge, locking into one of the rings like a key snapping into place. The entire engine trembles. It hums in your bones. The glyph you've been seeing appears again, hovering just beside the sculpture. This one is solid metal, black as obsidian, humming with stored energy. As you step on, it locks to your suit magnetically. There are many gates, the vapormancer says, but only one accepts resonance. You nod, though you don't fully understand. It doesn't matter. The message is clear enough. Once there, you'll need to walk the final path alone. You're about to go somewhere no one's been in decades. The vapormancer hands you a small orb. Lights flicker on the walls of the shaft, each one glowing blue, then red, then black. The motion mulls you. You try not to think of the pressure building beneath. Try not to think of the old stories of what lies beneath the city. Swallow this. You hesitate. It will anchor your neural integrity in high-pressure fields. Of course, the surface. They're preparing you for descent. The orb tastes like crushed mint and battery acid. It dissolves immediately. Your suit registers the compound and begins recalibrating your oxygen intake, skin tension, and core temperature. You feel colder, heavier, but more focused. You're taken to the elevator ring embedded within the tower's core. It's unlike the soft vertical glides used elsewhere in the city. A circular hatch above opens, revealing a narrow shaft that leads not up but down, piercing through the lowest level of the floating city and toward the ion well below. You'll reach the upper rim in 2 minutes, the vapormancer says. What should I look for, you ask? The ion well looms before you like a vertical scar in the world, a massive shaft that disappears into the sulfurous abyss. Rimmed with coils and turbines that no longer hum, they tilt their head, filled with static. A question, and something that remembers how to answer. Then the platform drops. You fall not fast, but steadily, like sinking through honey. But the glyph appears again. This time, inside your HUD, it pulses once, then expands into a full diagram layers of Venus's atmosphere, then its mantle, then something beneath even that. Something that looks constructed. You land gently. The hatch opens to a narrow walkway. Beyond it, the rim of the ion well. You step forward and the air changes, denser, heavier. Lightning dances across distant cloud banks. Except one of them is humming now, faint, low, alive. You walk toward it. The glyph appears again one final time. Enter. And so, without knowing why or what waits below, or whether you'll ever rise again, you step into the ion well and vanish into the clouds. You are a woman in your late 20s, but here, descending into the ion well, you feel ageless, genderless, reduced to a floating point of will. Your silver blonde hair floats around your face, helmetless in the vacuum-sealed chamber. Your atmosuit's internal pressure hums steadily against your ribs, keeping you intact as gravity increases. The inner suit vibrates gently along your spine to counterbalance vertigo. Your skin prickles. Your heartbeat is steady but distant, as if it belongs to someone else. Emotionally, you feel the deepest quiet you've ever known, not peace, something colder. Reverence. You are entering a place no one was meant to go. The ion well isn't a corridor, it's a plunge. You fall for minutes, maybe more, encased in a gravity-controlled pod that feels more like a womb than a vehicle. The city above has vanished. The light fades into a deep red, then black. Acid mist hisses against the outer shell. You see nothing. Feel everything. Your HUD dims to night mode, showing only basic vitals and trajectory, oxygen stable, descent velocity holding. Pressure increasing slowly. You pass through cloud layers so thick the pod shudders, and then impact, not a crash, a landing. The pod clicks into a docking ring, and the hatch opens with a hiss. You step out into an impossible space. A chamber, clearly constructed, but not by human hands. The walls are smooth, dark, and pulse with faint bioluminescence and geometric patterns. No control panels, no seams. Just architecture that responds to presence. The floor hums beneath your boots. The air, yes, there is air, is thick, dry, and smells faintly of metal and mint. The glyph is back, only now it's fully three-dimensional, orbiting the column like a satellite. You walk forward, every sense heightened. And then, in the center of the chamber, it rises. A column of crystal slowly emerging from the floor, floating, spinning. Your HUD vibrates with alerts it can't interpret. Symbols you've never seen flood your display. You reach out. The air ripples around your fingers, and then the voice returns. But this time, it's not in your mind. It's external, surrounding. You've come farther than the architects ever intended. You freeze. Who are you? Silence. Then a pause that feels amused. We're what remains. This city floats because we allow it. But something is awakening below. A blue planet, forests, oceans, life, civilizations that built upward, then downward, then vanished. Not yet. Your fingers twitch at your sides. You glance up the ceiling as lost in darkness. What do you want from me? You whisper. The glyph pulses, the crystal column slows. A question was placed inside you. You must ask it aloud. You hesitate. And then, without knowing why, you ask, what lies beneath the city? The glyph flashes once. What came before it? A vision floods your HUD. A time lapse of Venus before the clouds, before the heat. The iron well was not drilled, it was reopened. Whatever you're standing in wasn't meant to be found. You are the first to return, the voice says, but not the last. And then the crystal column cracks open, revealing a staircase, not mechanical, not glowing, just stairs, as if inviting you to walk, step by step, into the very bones of the planet. And despite everything rational inside you screaming no, you place your foot on the first step. You are a woman in your late 20s, and as you descend the spiral staircase inside the crystal chamber, you begin to lose your sense of scale. Your silver blonde hair is tucked inside the collar of your atmosuit now to keep it from floating into your face with each careful step. The suit is warm in all the right places, cooling where your back sweats and heating where your fingers have grown cold. Your boots no longer make a sound. Your footsteps feel more like suggestions than actions. One shows towers stretching from the clouds into the crust. Another shows those same towers melting under an intense storm of plasma. The last mural shows a figure alone descending into a spiral staircase beneath a city of light. Emotionally, you are suspended between courage and surrender. Each downward step is an act of trust of faith in something you cannot define. The staircase winds endlessly. The walls around you shimmer, shifting from crystal to obsidian to some kind of transparent metal that reveals briefly ancient strata of Venus' core. Through the translucent layers, you glimpse glowing chambers filled with strange machinery, fossilized tendrils wrapped around broken pylons, and lights that blink rhythmically with no clear source. You pass murals etched into the wall, alien, elegant, yet oddly human in their symmetry. You stop. It looks like you. You press onward. The suit's pressure seals hiss more often, adjusting to subtle shifts in gravity. A faint wind rises from below, dry and hot, smelling of copper and something ... floral. Your HUD flickers occasionally, but always returns to stable mode. The air is warmer now. Then you reach the bottom. There's no dramatic landing, just the flat plane of soft metallic earth, humming gently. The staircase ends at a bridge, suspended over a chasm so deep your HUD refuses to calculate its depth. Vapor rises in slow plumes, tinted green and violet, and in the center of the bridge, a figure. Not armored, not organic. Its face has no features, just a smooth surface with shifting fractal lights, crystalline. Its limbs are angular, its form humanoid but faceted like a gemstone, and it glows faintly from within. It speaks without moving. You have come to witness the sleep. Your mouth is dry. Whose sleep? Ours, yours. Not in mass, but in burden. Somehow, deep within the crust of a hostile world, a truth is being offered to you without words, without demands. It steps aside, revealing what lies at the end of the bridge. A cradle or perhaps a sarcophagus embedded in the floor, large enough for one person. Hovering above it, your glyph. But now, the glyph is changing. Each arm of its symbol pulls outward, rotating like a clock, until it opens into a complex web of moving parts, a star map. It shows a path through Venus, then through Jupiter's moons. Then beyond, you ask quietly, "What is this?" The crystal figure replies, "A map of return. All that was lost is sleeping. You are the first of many." You take a step forward. Your body feels lighter. You stand before the cradle, and the glyph speaks one final word. Remember. You are a woman in your late 20s, and as you stand before the cradle, your body feels less like flesh and more like potential. Your silver blonde hair lies flat beneath your suit's hood, your skin slightly luminescent from the high energy field in this place. The suit no longer responds to your commands, it's sensing directly with the environment. Your legs are stable, but your fingers tremble uncontrollably. Emotionally, you are balanced on the knife edge of transformation. Part of you wants to run, part of you wants to surrender, and part of you knows that it's already too late for either. You step closer to the cradle. It isn't made of metal or stone or crystal. The floor beneath you pulses in time with your heartbeat. It's something else, soft-looking but clearly indestructible. The surface ripples slightly as if reacting to your presence. The glyph above it spins slowly, each of its arms aligned with one of the cardinal directions, and something deeper. You can feel the resonance in your bones. Instantly, warmth floods through your body, followed by something else, a stillness that's deeper than sleep. Then the crystal figure speaks again. This is not a machine. It is memory. You kneel before it. Lie down. The voice is firm, but not unkind. You obey. As you settle into the cradle, it molds to your shape. Your HUD disappears. The world narrows. And the glyph, so familiar, so persistent, lowers itself until it hovers directly above your chest. It flattens, widens, melts into light. And then everything opens. You're not unconscious. You're not dreaming. You're remembering. Children laughing inside levitation spheres. Harvest towers blooming with crystal wheat. A society so advanced, they no longer recorded history, they became it. But not your own memories. You see the cloud cities, not one, but hundreds drifting across a blue Venus long before the collapse. And then something came. You don't know what, a force, a signal, a pattern in the clouds, and one by one, the cities went silent. And now your own pulse joins them, not destroyed, just hushed. You see yourself not as you are, but as someone before you. Walking the same staircase, asking the same question. You remember her voice, her fear, her choice. She entered the cradle and slept. You understand now? These glyphs aren't messages, they're echoes. Residual pulses of decision left behind like footprints in space-time. The vision fades. You blink and the glyph is gone. The cradle opens. You sit up gasping as if reborn. The crystal figure is still there, silent, but the air has changed. The chasm is humming. The bridge beneath your feet begins to glow. And far above you, through countless kilometers of cloud and memory, something moves. The figure finally speaks. The cities must awaken, but first you must return. You nod. You don't ask how. You know the way now. You rise, lighter than before. You are a woman in your late 20s, and as you rise from the cradle, your body feels different, not stronger, not weaker, but changed. Your silver blonde hair crackles faintly with residual static. Your atmosphere has reset to a deep black with thin streams of moving light along the seams, as though it too remembers something now. The chasm beneath now glows with shifting blues and purples, like a dream of the ocean seen from space. Mist rises gently, brushing your suit in little tendrils that leave no residue but somehow know you. Your pulse is calm, your breathing automatic. You feel no fear, not because there's nothing to fear, but because the fear has become irrelevant. Emotionally, you are quiet, ready, anchored. What lies ahead doesn't need bravery, it needs completion. The crystalline figure watches without expression. Or perhaps its stillness is the expression. You step off the platform and back onto the bridge. No path is shown, but you feel drawn not backward, not sideways upward. The bridge begins to tilt. Not a mechanical shift, but an atmospheric one. You're being lifted by pressure, by intention. Something in the iron well wants you to return, and it's carrying you. Your boots lift from the floor, and you ascend, not in a pod. Not with engines. Dozens of other cradles line the walls, most are closed. One or two are open, empty. You rise alone through the core of the shaft, past the staircase, past the murals, past the long-abandoned crystalline conduits. All around you, the infrastructure of a forgotten world wakes briefly light strobes gently in the deep, echoing your pulse. Not felt, but integrated into your nervous system says, you pass the docking ring where your descent pod still waits. You don't stop. Instead, the shaft narrows, then opens again, smooth, warm, and suddenly, you are no longer inside it. Data, pulses of information you can't read but immediately understand. You emerge into a chamber unlike any you've seen. It is alive. Lattice of organic material form a massive cocoon pulsing with soft light, but stilled, dreaming, unaware. Inside the walls, shadows, but slow, people, echoes. You hear humming, not human, not artificial, more like wind across a harp strung with memories. Then a voice not spoken. You are the third to rise. The cities are listening. A console grows from the floor, planetary rhythm like hibernation or ... Forgetting. Your suit reconfigures itself, opening your gloves to allow direct touch. You reach down, and at your fingertips, the surface lights up stars. You see the city above, drifting. You see its systems, stable. You see its people, alive. Then you see the pulse, the same signal that ended the previous world. It's returning, not a weapon, a cycle. A biological. You press your hand deeper into the interface, and the entire chamber answers. A sphere of light surrounds you, and you rise again. This time, through a vertical wind of memory and noise. A stream of encoded thought, a data storm. Your body remains still, but your mind rides the current like a kite made of consciousness. You pass through memories that are not yours, fragments of lives spent in floating markets, and sky rituals, and song towers that reached into the stratosphere, and then abruptly you stop. Back in your body, back in your city, lying in your sleep cocoon. Alarms are silent, lights are dim. You have returned. But something is different. You feel it in the floor, in the walls, in the air. The city is awake. You are a woman in your late 20s, but in this moment, returning to consciousness in your sleep cocoon, you feel both ancient and newborn. Your silver blonde hair is flattened with static charge, your skin slightly flushed with reoxygenation. Your atmosuit has resumed its previous hue, but subtle gold filaments now shimmer beneath the surface, like veins of data pulsing in rhythm with your heart. You are alert. Your muscles ache faintly, but your mind is crystalline. You are no longer the person who descended into the iron well. Emotionally, you feel lifted, not euphoric, not detached, but lifted, as though something essential inside you has reconnected to the city's pulse. You sit upright. The room is dim, but not still. The walls, once a smooth, neutral tone, now ripple with faint bioluminescent threads, forming symbols that shimmer, fade, and return in new arrangements. Some resemble the glyph. Others are unfamiliar. Your HUD flickers to life, displaying a new interface you've never seen before. Sync, legacy channel. Outside your sleep pod, the corridor hums. You hear distant footsteps, light, measured, purposeful. For a moment, you think you're alone. Then the door opens. A child stands there, no older than 10, barefoot, wearing a thin tunic of woven fog silk. His eyes are luminous, not glowing, but deep, as if lit from within by something not entirely human. He stares at you for a moment, then nods. You heard it too, he says, but none come. The pillar activates. You open your mouth, but no sound comes. He smiles, steps back, and gestures for you to follow, but moving, reshaping itself with every passing second. Not like a display, more like dot dot a heartbeat. It pulses in time with yours. You rise, you see something new. You walk through the residential tier, which is no longer quiet. That's impossible. Translucent, layered in colors that bend away from the eye. People are emerging from their sleep pods. Some were confusion, some awe. No one speaks loudly. The entire city seems to be wrapped in a collective hush like the moment before a great orchestra begins. Your movements feel smooth, as though the suit and your muscles are already in silent agreement. The platform beneath you trembles. The boy leads you to an upper platform. There, gathered around a central pillar, are dozens of other citizens. Some you recognize, neighbors, fog meditation partners, the man with the mycelium legs. Others are strangers. One woman is wrapped in a cloak made of mirrored petals. Another wears a mask shaped like a bird's beak. All of them turn as you approach, waiting. You expect questions. Instead, it projects a soft spiral of light, clearly a glyph. The boy steps forward. It's time to remember what the city is. He raises his hand. The glyph enters his palm and dissolves. At that instant, the walls expand outward, revealing the sky beyond the dome. Venus's clouds churn and flash with lightning, but far off in the distance, another city, one that wasn't there before. It shimmers, you whisper. The man with the mycelium legs chuckles. So was ours. Until you woke it, the light spiral grows larger. Your HUD shows a new signal now. Echo nodes activating. Signal bridge forming. Legacy transmission initiating. The boy turns to you again. It's not just this city. Others are stirring. They've been sleeping beneath the clouds. You nod slowly. You understand now. What you witnessed, what you touched, was just the first strand of something vast. And you are its waking voice. You are a woman in your late 20s, and now, fully awake, you walk with new gravity. Not the planetary kind, though you feel more rooted, but the gravity of purpose. Your silver blonde hair sways with each step, no longer drifting aimlessly in the low gravity of the city. Your atmosphere has begun adapting in unexpected ways, forming patterns along the sleeves that echo the glyphs, shifting in color with your emotions. You are composed, focused. Every sound feels sharper. Every motion feels deliberate. Emotionally, you are steady, but somewhere under the surface, wonder stirs like a sleeping storm. You stand on the upper platform as the projected glyph spirals expand overhead. Around you, people begin to move, not randomly, but into positions. As if they've done this before, though none of them seem to know why. The boy watches you. He doesn't smile this time. The song must be answered. A deep harmonic resonance that seems to rise through the bones of the city. At first, you don't understand. Then, from somewhere beyond the platform, you hear it. A hum. Low, growing, not mechanical, organic, planetary. You feel it in your teeth before you hear it fully. Your HUD pulses. Pulse signal detected. Frequency, 19.341 Hertz. Matching, pre-collapse resonance code 1 ADP. It's the same signal that silenced the ancient cities, and now it's back. But this time, the city responds. The lights dim. Panels rise from the floor. Along the dome's interior, spirals of plasma form like glowing kelp. The structure hums in reply, and you speak. You don't know the words. But your mouth moves. Sounds come out, not yours, not human. Ancient syllables that curl like smoke in the air. The people around you join in. The child begins to sing. And for the first time in recorded history, a Venusian city sings back. The signal stabilizes. Your HUD clears. A single message appears. Resonance accepted. linked to peripheral cities, established. Her mouth moves, whispering to someone or something far away. Quantum memory threads synchronizing. Dozens of glyphs begin appearing all around you, projected from every surface, walls, floor, atmosphere. A small portal of light appears just wide enough for a hand, each one tied to another city. Some are known, some are myths, others are new. The man with the mycelium legs looks up. We're not the last. The mirrored woman kneels and places her hands flat on the floor, and you raise your hand. The air around your palm shifts, and from it, a hand reaches out, slender, translucent. Clad in a suit like yours, it touches your palm just once, and withdraws. The portal closes. You say nothing, because what's happening now goes beyond language. It is reconnection. It is resonance. And all around you, the city begins to change. You are a woman in your late 20s, and you no longer feel confined to your body. You still have weight, breath, and bone, but there is more to you now. A resonance inside your mind, like the memory of wind across alien oceans. Doorways expand before you, responding not to authority, but to presence. Citizens wander the halls not with confusion now, but with recognition. Each one carries a piece of the glyph inside them, and they begin to understand their part in the greater shape. Your silver blonde hair clings softly to your temples. Your atmosuit now displays living light glyphs that shift in slow waves across your back and shoulders. Places that didn't exist before, or perhaps had simply been forgotten, reappear. Halls of wind memory. Sub-archives of fog structure. Vaults of preserved seed code. You move effortlessly, no longer asking where to go. The city guides your steps. Emotionally, you are open, strangely peaceful. It is not the calm before a storm. It is the calm after remembering who you are. The city is changing. Everywhere you walk, surfaces shimmer with new data. On your HUD, new nodes bloom across the city's map. At the final passage, you exit into a dome-shaped chamber with transparent walls that curve above the upper mist. One node flashes. Dawnline Ridge activated. The boy appears beside you, silent. You don't ask how he moves so quickly or why no one else questions his presence. You simply follow. The journey to Dawnline Ridge takes you upward past the growing humming chorus of the city, past old stairwells now lit with floating threads of light. Outside, the clouds are parting. Just beyond the dome's curve, you see the other city again. Not because you've seen it before, but because it has always been with you. But now there are more, dozens. Each glowing faintly, drifting on their own currents, newly awakened. Venus was never a dead world. It was dormant. And the cities were not isolated. They were waiting. The chamber's center holds an altar symbol, metallic, with curved lines etched in soft arcs. Above it hovers something small and impossibly bright. The final glyph. You recognize it immediately. It pulses once, and everyone around you kneels. You remain standing. You feel the presence rise in your chest like breath drawn in before a final note. You raise your hand. The glyph enters your palm. It's warm, alive. Your suit glows from within. And the city begins to sing again, not with voices, with systems. Light pulses along every corridor. Wind flows through vents in perfect harmonic waves. Data ripples like music. You hear structures whispering to one another, tuning themselves. Outside the dome, the other cities respond. The clouds flicker with streaks of coordinated lightning. The cities align. And in the distance, above the horizon of gas and storm, you see the sky change. A breach opens in the atmosphere, high above, and something vast begins to lower through it. Not a ship, not a god. A memory. You are a woman in your late 20s, and this time, when you breathe, it feels like you are inhaling the memory of stars. Your silver blonde hair floats upward as if reaching toward something unseen, and your eyes reflect the shifting sky above Venus's clouds. Your atmosuit has turned translucent in parts, especially along the arms, revealing glyphs glowing softly beneath your skin, as if etched there long ago. Physically, you feel light, almost gravitiless, yet every footstep is assured. Emotionally, you are wide open. It is a shape woven from light and data and something older, perhaps the impression of a civilization that once colonized, not with ships but with song. The old self, the one who woke quietly in a sleep pod, is gone. What remains is someone who listens to the planet's breath and feels the city's dream. The breach in the sky expands, the memory descends. It isn't solid, not exactly, not with impact. As it touches the atmosphere, the cities harmonize again. The clouds part. Venus's surface, long hidden beneath kilometers of acid vapor and pressure, flickers through the gaps like a ghost seen underwater, and then it lands. Not on any platform. It settles above the ridge, held aloft by resonance. A perfect sphere of shifting patterns. Inside, layers of motion, 1,000 or more fractal forms in orbit. Music without source, movement without propulsion. And a single door which opens, you don't hesitate. Your feet lift from the ridge. You rise, pulled not by gravity or force, but by a soft request from the memory itself. Inside, you find nothing physical. No rooms. No walls, just space. And light. And presence. A voice meets you, not a boy's, not your own. But all of them. We were waiting for the last signal bearer. You came. Now we begin again. You close your eyes. You remember things you never lived. You see the first Venusian drift cities before they fell silent. You see children born of light, gifted with memory instead of names. You see the earth fleet, long lost, drifting still among rings of dust. You see yourself not one life, but hundreds, parallel, colliding, singing, and then silence. The chamber dims. The presence retracts, and you awaken. Once more in your sleep cocoon, the city is quiet, but not still. Your HUD flickers with new glyphs, then goes dark. Outside, dawn has returned. The clouds swirl like ink in water. And far off, you hear something stir, not a threat. A beginning. You rise. And the city rises with you. The light beyond the dome softens, fading into the muted pinks and silvers of Venusian dawn. You stand in stillness, wrapped in the hush of a world just waking, your breath slow and deep. Not in fear or retreat, but as if a curtain were being drawn gently after the final note of a song. The memory sphere lingers a moment longer, pulsing with a final golden wave, and then it too dissolves like mist and rising heat. The hum of systems fades to a whisper like distant wind over empty dunes. The city settles into rhythm as if sighing after centuries of sleep. Above, the breach in the sky begins to close. You look around the dome, the people near you breathing as one, their faces peaceful. No one speaks. There's nothing more to say, only this: the cities of Venus have awakened, and something greater has remembered them. As you return to your chamber, the glyphs around you fade into the walls, resting again. You lie down. Your body grows heavier, your mind lighter. And as your eyes close, the dream remains. You drift not into sleep, but into something larger. A long quiet. A planetary lullaby. A promise. The future hums softly beneath you. And above, the clouds whisper their secret names into the sky.